We got hands-on with the Xbox Ally X at Gamescom, and a lot of you were asking, but what about the accessories? Well, we now know 4 accessories, and we're going to go through them today. I actually have one already, and there's one more that I'm super excited about, so let's jump into it. So the first one is, of course, the official case. This is called the ROG Xbox Ally bracket 2-in-1 bracket premium case. What a mouthful. So yes, the premium case for the Xbox Ally by ASUS is here, and actually it's kind of unique. There's kind of 2 compartments here. It seems to be like Velcroed together. So we do get a premium hardshell case just here, and it looks quite sleek. We've got a little handle at the top, one single zipper all the way around with the ASUS logo on the front, and then it's even got like a flip-up kickstandy bit as well, if you want to, I don't know, use an external controller on the go or something. I mean, why do you want to do that? But if you want to, maybe you're watching a movie on the train or something. That's a good idea, right? But this little flip-uppy standy bit also has SD card slots in it, in case you're using really small SD cards. I don't know. I mean, I would just get a really big SD card and leave it in the device myself, but it's there if you want to put loads of them in there. Now, this hard shell piece is actually water repellent. It's not going to be completely waterproof, but it's water resistant against spills or splashes, which is actually pretty handy. But it also has a detachable accessory pouch, which can supposedly fit the 65-watt included charger that comes with the Xbox Ally inside this little pouch. Now, this actually detaches, and at first when I saw this, I was like, oh, I don't know about that. But now I'm actually kind of happy about that. If you don't need that pouch for any reason, maybe you're only doing a short trip or something, I don't know, then you don't need to take that with you. But equally, if you do want to use that for any accessories and you stick it in your bag and it's just too bulky now, you can pull that back detachable bit off and then like stack it on the top in your bag or whatever. So I am kind of liking the look of this. There's no mention of price whatsoever. Next up is an upgrade from something that they've always had for a while, right? We've now got the ROG 100-watt gaming charging dock. So this is a 100-watt charger. On the previous one, at least, only had one USB-A and an HDMI. This time we get 2 USB-As and an HDMI, right? And then, of course, a USB-C out, which is going to be that 100-watt power delivery, right? So this is kind of funky. I've not actually seen these in the UK. Obviously, the photos here just show like a US plug type, whereas here in the UK, we've got that like earthing pin as well, which always makes it like extra bulky, right? So I don't know how that's going to work over here, but at least for the US, you've got a real slimline little flip down prong thing that goes in the wall, and it looks very compact. If you want a very easy portable dock, this would be super good for, like, let's say you're traveling and you're in a hotel room, and I normally end up trying to like butcher a Nintendo Switch into the back or something, right, with some dodgy ass dock. But this dock actually looks really good for docking your Xbox Allies. And of course, you could just use this with anything that, you know, you could use it with an original Ally, you know, or anything like that, right? So yeah, we've got support for power delivery 3.1 up to that 100 watts via that USB-C cable. So you can plug anything you want into this, laptops, phones, whatever, right? But it does only have HDMI 2.0, but I mean, that's probably all you need really anyway. Obviously 2.0 supports up to 4K 60 and 120 Hertz at 1080p. Now, obviously if you're docking an Xbox Ally X, for example, into this, if you're running it at 1080p, you won't need to change any of your game settings or anything, because you're aiming for 1080p on the handheld anyway, right? So if you just output at 1080p, you're going to get the same FPS and everything, which is actually pretty cool. And then of course we've got that dual USB-A ports if you want to plug a mouse and keyboard in or whatever like accessory you want to do, well then you've got that option as well. Now those USB ports are just USB 2.0, so yeah, they're not USB 3.1 or anything like that, or 3.2, which is kind of sad, but at least you've got something there for sticking like a mouse in or something like that. Next up is the actual dock. Now this is a proper dock from ASUS ROG. It's not Xbox branded, which is kind of a shame. I would have liked to have seen Xbox branding, but this is the ROG Bulwark dock. Now this is a 7-in-1 dock design, and I actually really like it. They sent it over to us, so I've got one in the studio here right now just to play around with. I don't believe they're out yet, but in a lot of the marketing, they are showing it docked with an Xbox Ally. On their webpage right now, it just shows the Ally X, but this is a super premium little dock. Now, there's not that much I/O on it. I was kind of expecting a bit more, but in terms of like the feel and everything, it's actually really premium, as I would expect from ASUS, right? You've got this little flip up bit, which acts as a stand, and it's got a really nice kind of rubbery like kickoff bit. Same with on the bottom where your Ally's going to like lay on. It's got like an anti-slip like design, which is really, really cool. Now on the back, we've got a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type A. And then we've got another USB A 3.2 Gen 2. And then we've got our Ethernet. We do actually get HDMI 2.1 here. So you can get 4K like 144 hertz or 8K at 30 hertz. Obviously, you're not going to be getting that out of the Xbox Ally X and certainly not out of the Xbox Ally, but there we go. We've also got the USB-C port just there, as well as, which is a 3.2, as well as the other one, which is going to be your the power as well. So you can plug in 100 watts of power into this dock. On the side, we've got a 3.5 millimeter combo audio jack, and then that's pretty much it. But I can imagine it's going to have a price tag to go with that. I certainly don't expect this to be a cheap dock. And now finally is the accessory that I'm actually most excited for, which seems a little bit intuitive because the Xbox Allies already have built-in controllers, right? But this is an external controller. It's just a dedicated controller, but there's something really special about this that I'm super excited to get hands-on with if I can get hands-on with it. When this is the ASUS ROG Raikiri II wireless controller. So this actually has TMR joysticks. Now, TMR joysticks are actually way better, again, than Hall effect. So you've got potentiometer sticks, right, which use friction to input the input, right? So it detects it via friction, and that friction can damage over time. You can get dust and stuff in it and everything like that, and that can cause drift. So joystick drift. Now, Hall effects obviously use magnets to get around this, and that's great, but they're not exactly that accurate. Now, TMR joysticks are very similar to Hall effect, but way better again. So the TMR joysticks actually use way less power versus Hall effect. So you're going to get better battery life, but also the benefits of the anti-drift because there's no friction, but also the resolution is so much greater. So the input detection resolution is so much higher than going from Hall effect to TMR that it's almost the equivalent of going to like the pixel count of like a 1080p screen up to a 4K screen. It is that big of a difference. TMR joysticks are incredible. I never expected ASUS to actually stick TMR joysticks in this controller, but yeah, they've got it. They've got TMR joysticks in this controller, so those joysticks are going to be super accurate without any drift whatsoever. We've got 2.4 gigahertz dongle, as well as Bluetooth or wired on PC and on the ROG Ally, right? The Xbox Ally, as well as certified for Xbox via USB-C and the 2.4 gigahertz. So straight away, it's going to be expensive because you have to pay to use Xbox's wireless protocol to actually have their like wireless protocol in your controller. You have to pay for the luxury of doing that. That's why a lot of third-party controllers wired only on Xbox, but since this is going to be wireless on Xbox, we know it's going to be pricey. Now, it's got 1000 hertz polling rate, which is kind of average these days, but it's definitely good. It's where I'd want to see like minimum. I've tested controllers up to like 8000 and stuff like that, but 1000 hertz, that's bang on, providing that it's accurate. If I do get a hands-on with one of these, I will certainly test that claim and make sure that you are getting those 1000 hertz polling rate, right? So that's very good. We've got programmable rear back buttons, paddles, whatever you want to say as well, which is absolutely brilliant. We've got dual mode triggers, seamless switching between micro switch triggers with short travel, as well as TMR sensor triggers. So that's actually really cool. So instead of Hall effect analog triggers, we're getting TMR analog triggers, as well as micro switch triggers. So instead of it just having a hard stopper, we're actually getting micro switches, which means that if you're playing like a shooting game, it is going to be instantaneous. There's going to be minimal travel there. And with that 1000 hertz polling rate, as soon as you click that trigger down, it's going to input so that you do not miss a shot or have any delay there, providing that you've got no like latency to the server whilst playing an online game or whatever, you know. But yeah, micro switch buttons in the D-pad and ABXY. So the face buttons, the D-pad, rear buttons and bumpers have micro switches. So they've gone all out. I'm a big advocate of micro switches on face buttons, triggers and back paddles. I review a lot of controllers and I'm always wanting that. So I'm super excited to see that they're going to be including micro switches all over this controller. Again, this just means minimal travel. It means you're going to get super good accuracy right off the bat. And yeah, it's just going to input very, very quickly. This is going to be brilliant for fast-paced games. But you do have to take a bit of a caveat here. There will be an audible click, just like a mouse. When you press those buttons, it will make like a kind of noise. So just bear that in mind. Now, it also says it's got extended battery life at 30 hours when connected to 2.4 gigahertz on a single charge with RGB lighting and vibration and audio off. So really, you're probably looking at like 15-hour battery life with everything turned on. But that's cool. But none of this is actually why I'm super excited. The thing that I am most excited about is the fact that A, it's got an actual Xbox button on the top. But they've also added the new library button and armory crate button, which is reflected on the actual Xbox Allies, right? So if you dock your Xbox Ally, you're going to get that full screen experience on a TV, that like native controller support for navigating your windows and actually launching your games, launching your Steam games using the aggregated games library and everything, all on a TV without the need of using a mouse and keyboard, because this controller has those buttons, the same buttons found on the actual like native hardware, right, on this controller. So you can operate this docked just as if you are using the actual Xbox Allies. And I think that is absolutely fantastic. I really hope we see some third-party companies like rip this off and program those same buttons there. I kind of doubt that we will see that, honestly. But if you want the absolute best setup and you are definitely going to be docking your Xbox Ally, regardless of what dock you're using, I would say arguably this controller is more important just because of those button features and the fact that you'll be able to use that full screen experience completely. I am super hyped for this. I really hope we can get hands on with it. And those are the accessories so far from ASUS that are that are confirmed to come out. Anyway, I'm super excited. Let me know what you would like to see them make as other accessories as well down in the comments. Once you're down there, like this video, subscribe, become a member, and you can chat to us over on our private Discord. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.